electricity solution in the entire world. The ANC has conducted a desktop research on companies with capabilities locally and internationally and found an entire database of companies with the same or more capabilities than Kratos. The question to be answered here are, what is the mayor's end goal? Is he doing this by himself or together with the DA headquarters in Cape Town, where he comes from? Is Kratos part of the DA's 24 election campaign funding scheme or sponsor? In a secret audio recording of the meeting of the mayor and senior executive, city manager, COO, head of department, etc., the mayor is clearly heard saying that an executive decision has been taken by himself to use a particular method of procurement, unsolicited bid, a method which will close out any potential competitor against his preference and ensure that Kratos is awarded the 48 billion contract according to his wishes. This is explicit corruption and interference by the executive mayor and the DA-led coalition government. The ANC has rejected the report when the mayor tabled in council on the 16th of August 2022, supported by other parties in council, and referred the mayor for investigation. The more concerning issues here is not the intention of generating electricity. That is noble and appreciated due to the deep challenges we have with Eskom and load shedding. The main concern is the money the mayor wants the city to spend on the project, 800 megawatts for the next 30 years. Let's just do the basic mathematics of the mayor's investment project. Estimates on the building of new power station. If 1 megawatt equals to 15 million, then 100 megawatts equals 1.5 billion. This means Tshwane must spend 800 megawatts equals to 12 billion for a new plant. But the mayor and his unsolicited bid company, Kratos, are not building a new plant. They are doing refurbishment and retrofitting. The proposed 26 to 48 billion far exceeds what is required to build the new plant. And here the mayor and his unsolicited bid company, Kratos, just want to do refurbishment on the 2 power stations. So the city will pay extra billions for the free, almost 36 billion. Unfortunately, our children will repay it over the next 30 years. This is more expensive than Eskom's Kusile and Midupi power station combined. The mayor has misled council and must be charged. On the matter of a failed Rooiwal water waste treatment plant, the ANC caucus has once more been vindicated on the issue of lack of service delivered by the DA-led government. The DA-led coalition has failed in the last 6 years to deliver water in Hammanskraal. The water waste treatment plant project has also failed. As a result of their failures, the DA administration now wants to apportion the blame on the city's senior officials and exempt the political principal, that is Msimang, Mokhalapa, and the acting mayor. The project has bleeded the city to a tune of 149 million, and there is nothing to show for it. The ANC caucus will ensure that the DA principals account equally for the mess as far as this is concerned. On the MEC of Kokta's intention to implement Section 106, subsection 1, paragraph B, the ANC Tshwane caucus acknowledges and knows the intention of the MEC of Human Settlements and Kokta, Comrade Lebogang Maile, to get answers about allegations leveled against the Mayor Rendell. There are many reasons why the MEC should consider placing the municipality under Section 106, subsection 1, paragraph B, and manage the city using experts in local government. The DA-led coalition has simply failed to deliver basic service, like your street lights, traffic lights, operational power stations in townships, reliable water supply in the city, refuse removal, as we have indicated. A clean city, the whole city looks like a dumping site. Everyone to see, we will be approaching the law enforcement agencies, that is your Hawks and the SIU, Public Protector and the Human Rights Commission, on the water issue in Hammanskraal. We'll also be submitting a motion of no confidence against the Executive Mayor, Randall Williams. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Regional Secretary. We will be taking questions from members of the media present on any matter that you may seek clarity on or may seek to get responses from this panel. I'll be taking hands And I will request that introduce yourself, the media house you're from, then submit your question. You're noted, Stimo, noted. Any other hands? All right. These, even on the virtual platform? You are the journalist. Are there any hands?
Not sure.
All right, let's take these two hands we have here physically with us. Steve.
Thank you very much. Offenses to SABC News. I just wanted clarity on the actual figure. We had 26 billion, 8 billion, just clarity on the exact figures.
Right.
Thank you. It's Kelvin from ENCA. The Action SA says there was a meeting between the mayor and the ANC on the eve of the special council meeting where the mayor wanted to solicit the support of the ANC for them to push through this report. Is that true? They said the EFF was also involved. That's not Action SA's claim.
All right. Do we have any other?
Yeah, I've got one more question on the motion of no confidence. Whether or not there's been any lobbying of other parties done towards that end, and why you believe it will succeed.
All right. I will allow the regional secretary to respond, and if there are any other additions that the panel may add to these questions, we'll also allow those additions to come through. Ares?
Yeah, no, thanks, spokesperson. I'm going to respond to only one question that relates to the allegation that the Action South Africa might have made against some councillors of the ANC. Indeed, that can be confirmed, that there are some junior councillors of the ANC that might have been called to offer support to what we might have termed a fraudulent process that the executive mayor might have wanted to undergo. Yes, some junior council within our council, who the mayor thought might have had some powers to assist him and so forth, might have shared with ourselves in terms of what he thought he could do. Yes, thank you very much. I think I will.
What did that do with those councils? Is there anything wrong with that?
No. They've not done anything wrong. Remember, once they've shared the issue with us, is that they realized the wrong that the men could have tried to do. Hence, they decided to share the information with ourselves. So, for us, they are honest people that we can trust. Unless if they have hidden the matter from ourselves and maybe tried to coerce others within the collective caucus of the ANC. So that has not happened, but we can definitely confirm that he tried to speak to some of our own councillors. Thank you. Yeah, you can speak on other issues.
Yeah, thank you very much, Regional Secretary of the African National Congress. Let me add on to what the Regional Secretary has indicated with regard to the attendance of the meetings by one of our comrades which was invited by Randa. We can attest that meeting was not a secret meeting. Our council went there just to listen what the executive mayor wanted to say, and he had reported back to us, because he understand that we had, as the ANC caucus, we had already taken a decision that we were going to reject that report with the contempt it deserved, because it's not in line with the prescripts of the law. That is what we can. The question with regard to 26 billion is 26 billion, but in terms of the report, they are saying it will even go as far as 48 billion. So that is why we are using the two figures interchangeably. But let me just also highlight that because they will misinterpret us as the ANC to say that we are rejecting the project. We are saying, as in the statement, that even in as far as the previous ANC administration, we wanted to have the two power stations being optimally utilized. As we speak, currently those power stations are not utilized. We are of the opinion that we needed to utilize it so that we can be able to resolve the energy crisis in Tshwane. But what we are vehemently differing with the city, the executive mayor, is the modality of sourcing the preferred bidder. We can't afford a situation where they can get a golden service provider to come and hand pick it and to push it through to the city of the entire citizen of Tshwane. I think that is our challenge on that report. Thank you very much.
But two, yeah, just in addition to what both the chairperson, deputy chairperson of the ANC as well as the regional secretary. I think one thing that every South African, together with the residents of Tshwane, that they must appreciate is that unsolicited bids, like the deputy chair said, the initiative for us to resolve electricity problems, the project is not a problem or the intention. But what we do not appreciate as the ANC is that an unsolicited bid, by its own definition, it's any person or a business that may identify an asset that may derive a value for their business interests whilst they're able to resolve problems. But an unsolicited bid cannot just be one that is driven by a single entity. There may then be other entities. Now, but what the mayor has done is that this particular bid should go to Kratos, and that on its own is illegal and it's interfering with all the prescripts of the law. Therefore, the ANC rejects that. And in our rejection, we're saying, let this process be opened to any other interested party. It must be a public tender, right? Because clearly, Kratos is not the only entity in the world or in the country that can derive any system to generate additional capacity. Now, the city spends 1.5 billion on a monthly basis in buying electricity from Eskom. So over a period of 12 months, we are spending close to 18 billion rands on electricity. Now, on a daily basis and as well as peak, we are consuming about 800 megawatts of power. So there will be excess of about, I think, 400 that they are going to sell. So this investment of about 26 billion that they are claiming, as the regional secretary has indicated, there is no money. These assets are just being given to these people who are linked to the DA as well as Randall Williams for free. And we cannot afford to commit citizens of the city over the next 30 years to pay for something which is illegal. On those bases, we're saying anybody in the country or anywhere who would want to help us resolve these problems, that, by the way, the ANC has always had intentions in making sure that we resolve, that they are also invited. It cannot just be closed to those. It's similar to the issue of Cape Town, where they claimed at some stage that Cape Town was on day zero when it came to water, and they invited people from Israel. The intention was not to solve the water crisis in Cape Town, but it was to empower a DA-led company for them to be able to run their political programs. Thank you.
Okay, perhaps let's just answer the other two questions, because the secretary said he will answer one. The deputy chair of the ANC has actually outlined that the report talks about an escalation. So it's 26 billion, that is the base price they are putting forward. But then the escalation goes up to 48 billion.
And then they take that with the 30 years lifespan of the project. Now, there are two things that are a deep problem there. Section 113, subsection B, indicates that how bids should be managed. Bids are managed according to Treasury regulation. And as we mentioned, the Regional Secretary mentions it, of National Treasury Note 11, hyphen 2008 and 9, that says that when there is a unsolicited bid, it must satisfy the condition of uniqueness. Now, just follow me on this one. If you're saying company X is unique, it must have unique features as well and characteristics. But in this instance, if you just do a Google search and find how many companies in South Africa, because they are talking about international local participation, in South Africa alone, don't go anywhere, that can actually put power stations together and assist with generation of electricity. We just put Medupi and Kusile, so that means somehow South Africans participated in a generation of electricity. Now, if you bring an international consortium like Kratos, it's called Kratos Consortium actually. The name is Kratos Consortium. If you bring an international partner to participate locally, you should have satisfied yourself that there's no uniqueness in South Africa. So you can't then say that we only have one company that can do this project in South Africa or internationally. If you do a simple desktop search, you will find that there are plenty of companies. There's actually a database of them that can do this. So I thought we should satisfy you and answer you directly why the issue of and then there's a secondary issue on that, which the regional secretary says. He gives a mathematical equation of calculating megawatts and says that if you want 1,000 megawatts, it's 15 billion because 100 megawatts is a certain figure. Now they are saying in Tshwane, the power stations are only 800 megawatts. Now, if you do the simple arithmetic that he did there, you will see that you only need 12 billion to generate that 800 megawatt. That is a comparative analysis with Eskom power stations that exist, because you only do benchmarking with what exists. What exists costs Eskom far lower than that. Now, if you take 800 megawatts, you can say 0.8 gigawatts. You can't pay 26 to 48 billion for that if Eskom alone in Kusile and they paid 30 billion. But only in Tshwane you pay 48 billion. That means there's mahala money that is going out somewhere. The city will bleed. And unfortunately, the mayor called it an investment. This is not an investment. Tshwane people are going to have to pay. I mean, after those people invested their money here, they want the return. The return on investment is going to be paid by residents. Our children, all of us here in the room, who will be staying in Tshwane will pay those bills every month. Ourselves for the next 8 years will pay those bills. So the issue here, the deep issue, is the corruption involved. That's what the ANC is a noble idea. The regional secretary says it's a noble idea. We want electricity. We want to deal with load shedding, but we can't bleed the money. Just make an example with the PPE. The PPE scandal, the PPE, we wanted PPE when we had Corona, but we couldn't afford to pay billions just because we wanted PPE. We can't pay billions in excess just because we want electricity. It must be done accordingly and according to accepted prices. Now here is a clear situation where the mayor went out of the way to force, there's a recording where the mayor speaks and says his instruction. Now the mayor is not allowed. Only section 100 of MFMA allows the mayor to do oversight work. The mayor, this regional secretary was an MMC, if you did not know. He understands the process. The process that as an MMC or a mayor, he should do oversight over the department, not to tell procurement who to appoint and what bid to do. So I thought we should share that so that you know what is our problem. So as a result of that, you ask about Gavin, about the motion of no confidence. That's your last question. The ANC position is that there's corruption. And when there's corruption, we have resolved at the policy conference and any other conferences that we must act against corruption. So the ANC will put that motion based on our principle and our ethical belief as the ANC. Other parties, yes, of course, they will be lobbied. If they support us, we also support other parties in council. If they support us, then the motion will pass. But that is our position. As the ANC, we will oppose corruption. We will act against it. If there is no one putting the motion, the ANC will put it. And the ANC, as the regional secretary has said, we will go to law enforcement and make sure that this thing is dealt with appropriately. That's our position.
Indeed, we do believe that there might be other opposition parties that are supporting us as the African National Congress, because we do believe that they also are very much concerned with the level of corruption that is happening in the city. And in this case, through the deputy chair, we've already met some opposition parties. And we do believe that we are together on the matter. But that is not an issue. What is important for all of us is that there's a matter of corruption that is prevalent, and ourselves as the ANC, believing in ethical leadership, we are pushing it with or without any other support, because for us, you don't need support for speaking the truth. Anything that appears there to be fraudulent, it should be pushed with all our strength. So we are definitely sure that we will get some support, as the deputy chair has already lobbied some political parties. Of course, that is their view also, to say, but this cannot happen. Yes.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other closing questions on the Zoom platform, perhaps, so that we are able to wrap up?
We're not getting anything in the Zoom.
Then I think we are clarified. Thank you very much. The statement has been shared on multiple platforms. If there are any requirements for interviews after this, you may stay behind. We'll avail the leadership to respond to any other thing. Oh, there's 3 questions on Zoom. There are 3 hands. Can you confirm? Oh, you'll be fine. Okay. No, thank you very much, colleagues. Thanks for coming. We'll be available for any additional interviews after this that we may respond to. Thank you very much.
Chili's Munyai.
Thank you very much.
There's a hand there.
Yeah, there's a hand.
No, we're done.
Yeah.
We're done.
But there's a hand, or are you not?
Yeah, Chile.
So is he not allowed to ask a question?
Yeah, they can ask a question.
No, he's just saying Randall must go. He's not asking a question.
There's a hand. Can't you see a hand?
Okay.
Yeah,
That's fine.
You want bread?
Okay.
Which one is that?
that's
Oh,
That's a sort.
Oh, no, re a leboga. Re nagana gore go matshwanedi re le ba mmuso wa ANC gore re buisane le ba bang ba mekgatlo e leng gore ke karolo ya council ya rona, gonne le tla utlwisisa gore morago ga ditlhopho tsa bo masepala tsa 2021 ga go le koko lepe le leng gore le ka kgona go itirela le esi. So ka tsela eo tshwetso nngwe le nngwe e re tshwanetseng re tseye e tla tlhoka gore re buisane le banka rona ka mogara council. Maikaelelo a magolo ko netefatsa gore Mayor Randall Williams o a tswa mo setilong ka se re naganang gore ke bobodu ba ka tswang a ratile go boetsa. So ke se se botlhokwa seo, re le ba mokgatlho wa ANC re kgatlhanong thata le manyofonyofo, gobane le rena re le ba mokgatlho go nane mo re tsamaileng re go alejiwa gore go nane sela le sela se re se editseng, and re tseya dikgato kgatlhanong le bang ba re dirisanang le bona. So we'll stop at nothing to do the same with other opposition parties or political organizations. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All languages are
Yeah,
fine.
no. Too much. Vanessa is nice.
I know. If I go grab it, you are not.
For
No, we must fuck the game.